Okay, back with the Mercenary Review Board stuff. This time we're looking at the Sword of Light, House Curator's pinnacle apex predator from the arms of the DCMS. Yeah, look, these guys, they're the best of the best, and there's reasons for this, right? 5 years of flawless service in any other regiment within the Combine, passing a series of mental, physical, spiritual and political tests, you know, and it's not just the mech warriors, it's also the non-combat stuff, the techs, everybody else in the thing, right? So this is the tip of the sword. These guys get the best gear. Curator's not known for having good equipment, but what there is, these people get it. They have top priority for supplies. They even have dedicated jump ships and drop ships. And given that House Curator has a stranglehold on the monolith drop ships, I think it's the monoliths, they get access to everything, right? They're not tied to any particular area of deployment. So if you encounter these guys, take this one thing away from them. If you see the Sword of Light coming down onto you and you don't have more numbers and more things on your side and a bucket load of experience, best option, run. So, you know, it's a thing. So usually decked out in plain reds. I think at one point there may have been 12 regiments, but these days there are only 5. And I say only 5 as if it's a consolation, but they represent so much more within that. Right. So as the flagship unit, we have the 5 they call them regiments, but they're enhanced regiments, okay? So the first Sword of Light, known as the Ivory Dragon. These are an expanded regiment of 4 battalion of fanatically loyal veteran mech warriors, all right? Broad mix of mechs from mediums all the way up to assaults, highly skilled at night fighting. Thankfully, they seem to be stationed on Luthien, the Combine capital, so you don't have to worry about them, unless for some stupid reason you take a contract to attack Luthien. There's got to be somebody out there dumb enough to do that. Anyhow, so what else have we got? I know they've had action with the Wolf's Dragoons just recently. I'm not too sure on the worlds. Davian Ward or Quinton, I think. But yeah, it was just the coordinator having a little squiz at what the Dragoons could actually do. But this is more on the Sword of Light as opposed to the Dragoons. The second Sword of Light, actually no, before we get too far, Sword of Light, why the hell that name? Alright, it's something out of Buddhist mythology, I think, from all bloody things, to be that cleansingness of mind, spirit, body, all that kind of stuff that, hey, the Curitans seem to love. But, it's that purity of focus, terrifyingly so. Okay, then of course we get to the Steel Dragon, also known as the second Sword of Light. These are elite mech warriors. They have mostly heavy mechs with a few lights and a couple of assaults. They have a reinforced air wing with lots of additional capabilities, and they're called the Steel Dragon because they represent the steel pillar in the Combine, i.e. the military. This is the cleansing blade that'll cut through pretty much anything. They are permanently assigned a whole mix of additional assets to make them reinforced with armour, infantry, aerospace assets, etc, etc, etc. Yeah, and the second Sword of Light, the coordinator himself, Tashikai, it has gained fame from within this organisation, taking the family battle master onto the field, but rose to command the heavy assault battalion prior to becoming the coordinator. Now, to win respect and governance with this makes this person terrifying, even at the best of times. Now, that was back in 3000, so then more recent engagements include where they got hold of, well, I suppose Prince Eon Davion lost his life in a one-on-one duel on Mallory's World in 13. They attempted to catch the new prince with some trickery in the Battle of Halstead Station, but it's like every unit, they have ups and downs. So these guys, it's mostly ups though, so don't delude yourself otherwise. So if you see their steel bannered icon, yeah, I would turn tail and run, even despite my experience. Oh, excuse me. Alright, so moving right along, we have the Golden Dragon, the fifth Sword of Light. As always, fanatically loyal elite mech warriors. This sort of line doesn't seem to change, strange enough, because their introduction to the DCMS trains them in such a way that they end up with this fanaticism. Anyhow, let's go. These guys are pro-urban combat. Don't know where they're stationed at the moment, but these things move around all the time. And they represent, I suppose, the economic sides of things, supposedly, but it's again another regiment of highly skilled, highly dangerous mech warriors, and to think otherwise, I'll leave it with you. Moving on to the 7th Sword of Light, also known as the Teak Dragon. Again, 4 battalions in an expanded regiment who are fanatically loyal to the coordinator. And this is the detail. They're not to the Combine or the DCMS military as a whole, but the coordinator. All right. So these guys also seem to be specialists in city fighting, or at least that's what I've heard. But take everything I say with a grain of salt. So anyhow, moving on to the final regiment that I know about, the Jade Dragons, or the Jade Dragon, I suppose. It's the 8th Sword of Light, 2 medium and 2 assault battalions, from what's the rumour mill says. It's been one of the busiest DCMS regiments, and as far as I can tell, they are pretty much adapted to most situations. I know one of the units in this whole lineup has been used for putting down insurrections, but I'm not sure if it's the 8th or the 5th. Anyhow, that's all I'm going to rabbit on about now. Looking back over this video, yes, this is where, by this stage, this silly little mech warrior managed to get themselves into some trouble. Personally, I don't like infiltration missions. If you've got a good fast light mech and you can sneak around, what the scouts do out there, that's brilliant stuff. But these guys are stumbling around in the dark. Okay, so the minute and a bit I've got left over for this transmission. Let's dump in something else then. Alright, so the Draconis Combine can be broken into 5 regional areas or districts. Alright, we've got closest to Terra is the Dieron district. This is the oldest world. They're all the nearest settlers to Terra, from Terra. Diverse mix of people, funds for the old Star League, all that kind of stuff that sort of links them into that. Any of the lost tech that you think you're finding in that area would have been discovered long ago, so don't even bother looking for it. I'm just thinking from a Merc's perspective, because even this guy here knows to stop, pick up stuff and nick it when they can. The guy on the screen, that is. Anyhow, moving on. Next out, we've got the Benjamin district, which wraps around Dieron. It touches on both the Lyrian Commonwealth and the Federated Suns borders. Many mechs who've worked there notice a deep paranoia about the local population towards the government and the people towards mercs. It appears to be the forgotten realm, the forgotten child of the realm. And anyhow, moving along the Davion border, we've got Galedon 5. That's heading out towards the periphery. It was the whole seat of power, but that disappeared 400 years ago. So it should have been forgotten, but they still remember. Then, of course, flipping across to the Steiner border, we've got the Rasalhague district, which borders on the Tamar Pact of the Commonwealth, and they've got a strong Scandinavian history and a fairly active separatist movement, likely jobs through there. And then finally, wrapping out and pushing out towards, wedged between all that and out towards the periphery, Pesht district sits in the hinterlands, in the back of the Combine. Yes, the Luthian capital world sits, the Combine capital world of Luthien sits there, and it's supposedly the heart of the dragon. But in terms of contractual work, I mean, if you want to play along the periphery, Pesht's a great choice. If you want to go and face one of the other great houses, take your pick, but I'll leave the rest to you. So, I hope you found my crappy little rantings useful. As I said, yeah, this is all thrown to the review board. Guys, make with it what you want. After last time, yeah, this is all just conjecture. No line in reality. ComStar plays no part in this, and, we'll go on from there. If you find it useful, you know what to do. Thanks for your time today. And yeah, enjoy.